Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are tackling a really interesting combination problem called Find All Possible Stable Binary Arrays 1. Let's break down exactly what this means and how we can solve it. So here is the official problem statement. We are given three numbers, a target number of zeros, a target number of ones, and a limit. We need to figure out how many unique arrays we can build, using exactly that many zeros and ones. But there is a catch. The array has to be what they call stable. We'll explain what that means next. Think of it like stringing beads on a necklace. You have a specific number of black beads and white beads. The limit rule simply says you can't put too many of the same color right next to each other. Every group of identical beads must be smaller than or equal to that limit. For example, if our limit is 2, having two zeros side by side is perfectly fine. But the moment we place three zeros back to back, the array becomes unstable and we can't count it. Our goal is to count every possible valid arrangement. Let's look at an example. We have one zero to place and two ones to place. Our limit is just 1. That means absolutely no identical numbers can sit next to each other. They must perfectly alternate. So let's try building it. If we start with a 1, the next number has to be a 0 to respect our limit. Then the last remaining number is a 1, which fits perfectly at the end. That gives us one valid arrangement. If we tried starting with a 0 instead, we'd have to follow it with a 1, and then another 1, which breaks our limit rule. So the total answer is just 1. Just a quick heads up, we will be walking through the logic and solution using Python. But don't worry if that's not your main language. I will be showing the full code for Java, C++, and JavaScript towards the end of the video. If you just want to grab the code right now, you can find it on my website, leetcodeunlocked.com. The link is in the description. Because we are building these sequences up one element at a time, this is a perfect job for dynamic programming. To figure out the number of valid sequences at a certain step, we can look backwards at the previous steps. To do this correctly, our table needs to track three things: the number of zeros we've placed, the number of ones we've placed, and crucially, whether the very last number we put down was a 0 or a 1. Imagine we are at a step where we want to add a 0. We can safely take all our previous valid arrangements that ended with a 1, and just stick a 0 on the end. That's guaranteed to be valid. We can also add a 0 to arrangements that already ended in a 0. But here is where we have to be careful. If we do that, we might accidentally create a chain of zeros that is too long. So how do we handle that limit? The trick is to add up everything as if there were no limits, and then subtract the invalid cases. Specifically, we subtract the exact number of cases where adding this new 0 would create a forbidden chain of identical zeros that is exactly one number larger than our allowed limit. Alright, here is the full Python code for the dynamic programming approach provided in the Leetcode editorial. Don't worry if it looks like a wall of text. It's actually doing the exact same logic for zeros, and then repeating it for ones. Let's break it down into smaller, digestible chunks on the next few slides. By the way, if you want to test this code out yourself without retyping it all, you can go to the leetcodeunlocked.com or use the link in the description. You can copy the exact code that is shown and explained in this video directly from there. Now getting back to the explanation. First, we set up our three-dimensional table. The dimensions represent the number of zeros, the number of ones, and that final 0 or 1 slot tells us what the sequence ends with. We also define our modulo value to keep our numbers from getting too massive. Then, we fill in our base cases. If we are only using zeros, there is exactly one way to arrange them, as long as we don't exceed the limit. We do the same thing for starting with only ones. Now for the main loop where we build our counts. If we are adding a 0, we take all the previous combinations that had one less 0 in them. We add up the ones that ended in 0 and the ones that ended in 1. But, if our current number of zeros is larger than the limit, we have to subtract the bad cases. We look backwards by the limit amount plus 1, and subtract those combinations because they would create an illegally long chain of zeros. Finally, we handle the modulo math. Since subtraction might give us a negative number in Python, adding the mod value before taking the modulo again ensures our count stays positive. Adding ones follows the exact same logic. We look at combinations with one fewer one placed. We add together the valid paths, and if we've placed more ones than the limit allows overall, we look backwards and subtract the combinations that would result in a chain of ones that is too long. It is a mirror image of the logic we used for the zeros. We will trace through a live example in just a second, but first I want to quickly say why this channel looks and sounds the way it does. You can probably tell this is narrated by AI. I actually built this for myself, so I could generate clear, instant explanations the moment a daily problem drops to help myself learn. It helps me study faster, and I upload them here, in case they help you too. I don't put ads in these videos, and I don't take any sponsorships. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Code can be hard to visualize just by looking at it, so let's run a simple example through our table line by line. We have 1 0, 2 1s, and a limit of 1. When we try to place 1 0 and 1 1, there's one way to end in 0 and one way to end in 1. Now, moving to 1 0 and 2 1s. For ending in 0, our lookback gives us 0 ways. For ending in a 1, we add our previous valid paths, but we have to subtract the path that caused 2 1s in a row. 1 plus 1 minus 1 leaves us with exactly one valid way to end in a 1. Our final answer is just adding those two end results together. You might wonder about edge cases. What if the limit given to us is massive? Let's say the limit is 100, but we only have 2 zeros to place. We can never break the rule. Our code handles this perfectly because of the if I is greater than limit check. If we never reach the limit, we never subtract anything, and the code simply counts all possible arrangements. Let's talk about efficiency. Since we are filling out a grid where the rows are the target number of zeros and the columns are the target number of ones, the time complexity is big O of 0 times 1. We visit each cell in our grid exactly once. The space complexity is also big O of 0 times 1, because that is the size of the three-dimensional table we need to keep in memory to store our previous answers. Alright, that covers the logic and the Python solution. As promised, here are the full solutions for Java, C++, and JavaScript. Instead of pausing and typing these out, you can just go to leetcodeunlock.com via the link in the description to copy and paste the exact code directly. Here is the full solution implemented in Java. It uses the exact same dynamic programming table and transition logic we just discussed. Next up, here is the C++ version. We use a three-dimensional vector to act as our state tracking table here. And finally, here's the solution implemented in JavaScript. Note that we use big ints here by adding an n to the end of our numbers to handle the large modulo additions safely. So let's wrap it up. We learned that when you need to count combinations with specific rules, dynamic programming is often your best friend. A great strategy is to calculate everything as if it were valid, and then mathematically subtract the bad cases. And finally, when dealing with giant numbers and modulos, always ensure your intermediate steps don't dip into negative numbers accidentally. Before we finish up, I want to mention I have another channel called Leetcode Unlocked. I am on a mission to eventually post a solution for literally every single Leetcode problem on the platform. If you want to study problems outside of just the daily challenge, make sure to check it out. If you want to help support that goal of covering every problem, you can donate at buymeaboba.com/leetcodedaily. Also, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I post the daily Leetcode problem as soon as it comes out so you can get your streak done early. Keep coding, and I'll catch you in the next one.